Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is Bill McFadden from Tone Pure Music, and in this video, we're going to get into Hans Zimmer Strings. So I'll just go ahead and add an instrument. And the way it's set up, you need to go to your synth folder because that's where it automatically goes when you install it. And then look for HZ Strings. Then open that up. And then as you see, we get this interface. And the default patch is the 60 cellos all in one. So and if you'll notice, the tree microphone is activated. And if we scroll through the different mic positions, you see there's tons of mic positions, I believe up to 24, possibly 26. But anyway, each instrument has different mic positions and they're not all active on every single patch. And if you'll notice, just with this default patch, just with that one mic setting of tree, we're getting about 541 megabytes. And you see we have CPU. So it's about 6% there. Disk usage jumps maybe up to 6%. And voices, we're getting 24 there. 32. And this is a 60, these are 60 cellos. Now it has, so we have cellos, we have violas, we have violins, and we have basses. And if we go in this default patch and click on that, we see here's the 60 cello patch, where you have 60 cellos centered around. But as you scroll up, you'll see that you have a 24 cello, and these are additional 20 cellos. And then you have, and they're centered, as are the 60. They're more or less centered around the stage, or around the mics. And then you have 20 cellos on the left, and as you keep scrolling, 20 cellos on the right. And then we go into the basses. And then as you keep scrolling, and these are all the articulations on the right for the basses. And as you keep scrolling, you get the 60 violins. And then you get 20 violins in the center. And these are additional, so that's 80 altogether. And if you keep going, you have 20 violins on the left, and these, so far we have 100 violins. And then we have 20 on the right, 120 violins. And then we get into the violas, you have 20 of those. And then you have 20 violas in the center, so that's 40 violas. And then you have violins in the gallery, as well as cellos in the gallery. So and then you have user presets. So the default patch is the cellos, as I mentioned. And if you wanted to, say, load the 20 cellos in the center, you would just click on that icon there. And then all-in-one gives you all the articulations for the 20 cellos in the center. Then you click on load, and then it displays cello center all in one. So you're just getting those 20 cellos now. So this would be useful if you had different patches. You could do surround sound. You could have your cellos on the left, cellos on the right, cellos in the center, and so on. Or you could go ahead and link up the patches together in your DAW. Like so. Here I'm linking 3. And by doing that, depending on how you have your settings, if they're all distinct patches, you would be getting all different cellos. So let's go ahead and, so that's your cello patch, and those are your mic positions. If you click over here, you get your articulations. So right now we're looking at the longs. And that's a 20 center all-in-one. In other words, you get all your patches that are available for those 20 cellos in the center. You have sol pont. Actually, long sol pont. And here's super long sol pont, which, okay, we need to increase. Here's your reverb setting. There we go. Let's also take a look at the release. If you click on the middle of this icon, it gives you two options, reverb and release. So now you're controlling reverb. Let's go back to this instrument right here. If I click on it, we actually have cellos in the gallery. And then if we look at the patch, we're looking at long concertino. Here's your reverb. Here we have expression. And here you have your dynamic layers going from soft, medium to loud. And you can set those up, like if you right click, say on the expression, and then learn MIDI CC, and then move a controller, then you automatically have control of that parameter, and the same is true for this. Learn MIDI CC. So we can vary the expression and the dynamic layers. And then here I usually have reverb, so if I right click on that, learn the MIDI CC. Then we have reverb. So let's go ahead and open another Hans Zimmer patch. So we go into synth, and of course you could search for it in Cubase. So there it is. So as you see, it loads fairly quickly. And again, we have the default patch cellos. Now if I click on that icon, let's go down, and there's actually a little scroll bar on the right here, which is really hard to see. And if you go all the way down, you have the cellos in the gallery, and then there's the violins. Let's go ahead and listen to the basses. There they are. You have 24 basses. Here are your articulations. So what I'm going to do is all in one. And then I guess somehow I selected violins all in one. Let's go ahead and go back to the basses. It still wants violins all in one. Okay, let's try here. So it's a little bit ambiguous at times. Okay, there we go. We got the basses all in one. And first thing you're doing is look at your mic positions. So we just have tree. And then if we go through the scroll through, we see those are the only ones that are activated. Notice spot C3 is not available. Okay, they're not all available for all instruments. But the ones that are available are, you see the circle lit up as opposed to dimmed. And then over here we have the release, as well as a reverb available. Now it really makes a huge difference when you start selecting mic positions. Now right now the articulation we're in is long, so let's go to the mics and let's go ahead and select close, bring that up, and you'll notice that we're starting to get up to about 1.16 gigs, but you can hear the difference already. If you want a fuller sound, and then here's your close left, and bring that up. Close center. So there we have a sample of the basses, and then if we go into the articulations, we have legato. Long harmonics. Sulpont. So it's long sulpont. Here we have a long super sulpont. Here we have long super soltesto. And here you can bring your volume up. So really very unique string patches. Here you have flotando, super flotando actually. And again, the more mic positions you add, you get additional volume as well. Like here's spot L1 and spot L2. But when you do, of course, it's going to be harder on system resources. Now we're up to 2.16 gigabytes. Here's your riser. Notice it goes up to 2.37 gigs. So let's go ahead and change the basses to the violins. So there are the violins. And we'll click on all standard. Load. So now, again, the all means you're getting all the articulations. So there we have longs. We have Consordino longs. Let's listen to those. Got some reverb. Let's look at the release. Look at the mic positions. Let's add it close. Let's add ambient. Close, left, center, and right. Even gallery. Spot L1 and L2. Look at our gigs. We're up to 1.5 and climbing. The nice thing is when you're adding mic positions, although it is adding more memory, it's a fairly smooth transition. You don't hear any clicks or pops. So it's a really different sound than other libraries, mainly because of the size of the string sections. And I guess the way that it was recorded and your variety of mic positions, which is larger than any library I've ever seen. And they do add more ambience and more character to the different sounds. The reverb is quite nice as well. Nice tail. At this point, I'm not sure whether the reverb is actually the reverb in Air Studios where it was recorded or an algorithmic reverb. One of the techs thought that it was algorithmic, but he wasn't sure, so we'll find out. Now, on some patches, you also have vibrato. For example, if we go to a long patch, oops, that was a little abrupt. Okay, I think we might be exceeding resources at this point. Let's go ahead and to the mics and turn some of those mic positions off, because I do have several instances of it loaded in the DAW. So we have these close ones as well. Got carried away with all the mic positions. We want our ambient back. So now we're under a gig. Okay, let's go into another instrument. We've taken a quick look at basses. Go here to the scroll bar. Whoops. Okay, we did violins. There's violins center, violins left, violins right. Let's take a look at the violas wide. So again, the default mic position is tree mic. All the other mics are silenced. But notice we were at one point almost a little over a gig. So here you have vibrato as well. So you can definitely hear the vibrato. No vibrato, and we're bringing it in. One thing I noticed about the strings and even the violas is your upper registers sound really nice. You don't get that sort of brittle sound that you get with a lot of other string libraries when you're approaching the higher notes in the instrument. So as far as some of the articulations, we've got consordino. We have tremolo, which is really nice, the tremolos in this. Let's listen. So let's take a look at some of the other instruments that we haven't touched on. Okay, you do have some different settings. There is the all standard, which I've been using. There's also all epic. So if we take a quick look at all epic, here's your velocity crossfade. We have the ambient mic position. That's the only one that's being used. So we have collegno. You have your longs, you have your shorts. Bartok pits. So, as you can see, there's a lot to explore. The all Scandi gives you the super flautando, the super sulpant, and the harmonic tremolo, and also tremolo harmonic waves, which is the players being staggered in sections with a harmonic tremolo. So a very unique articulation, one that you're not going to find really. Orchestral Tools doesn't have that, which is one of the main competitors. And none of the other manufacturers have that. I think they're the only library that has it. And primarily because they have so many string players, they can do things like that. Here's your super. So that's just 20 violas. We also have the 20 violas wide. I guess suggestions for improvement would be make the visual interface easier to see. Okay, make it a little larger possibly. And like I'm actually using a scroll bar that's really difficult to see, if not impossible. I just know what's there from another monitor. So you have your 60 cellos, which we looked at, and then your various other cellos, your 20 center, 20 left, 20 right. Then you have your 24 basses. Then you have your 60 violins. And then those, and in addition to those 60, you have another 20 that are centered, another 20 that are left, and another 20 that are right. You could actually have all three patches loaded and just play them simultaneously, and that would give you a fuller sound as well. Then we looked at the 20 violas wide. Then there's a 20 viola center and 20 violas right. So there's your center. And then you have violins in the galleries and cellos in the galleries. Actually, maybe I misspoke on the cellos, or on the violas. Okay, there's 20 in the center. And 20 wide. So it looks like we actually have 40 altogether, which seems, I thought we had more than that, but that's what it looks like we have in the interface. So I just wanted to do a fairly quick overview of the different instruments, because most of the other tutorials by Spitfire really just focused on the cellos. So I wanted to get in the basses and the violas and the violins, and just show you how the interface works. So this is Bill McFadden from Tone Pure Music. If you have any questions, please ask those in the comments field. And if you have any suggestions, please include those. Also, if you would like to be notified of additional videos when they come out, please subscribe. So this is Bill McFadden signing off from Tone Pure Music.